Subscribe to Sales Scholar Studios and do not forget to click on the bell icon.
A lot of things had changed in my life suddenly. I had been pulled away from a space where I had all my friends, all my social network, and I was put into a place which was completely alien to me culturally, in terms of the people there. And I had some time at hand, albeit only the weekends, but that was a time that was available. So that's when I thought, why not give it a try? And quite honestly, when I started writing, I did not picture it as a book. I was simply writing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Leisurely Batein. My guest today is Mr. Anurag Anand. Anurag is a best-selling author and a senior corporate executive. Anurag, welcome to Leisurely Batein. How are you doing?
Thank you, Shubhadeep. I'm doing as good as one can. How about you? How are you doing?
Well, the same. I've been trying to learn the art of patience and, trying various ways to keep myself busy. And one of them is talking to, friends like you.
It's a fantastic way to keep yourself occupied in these times, I must say.
Absolutely. Anurag, what I have always been intrigued, you being a very busy corporate executive working for a very large MNC, how did you manage to keep the author in you alive, in your corporate self? It's not easy, and I really want to understand that.
So, Shubhadeep, you'll be surprised at the frequency that this question gets thrown at me. And actually, it doesn't have a very complicated answer in that sense.
Right.
So it's about how you look at writing. Is it something that you are compulsorily doing or forcing upon yourself versus something that comes from within? And the minute you're able to differentiate and you know that this is something where your passion lies, this is something that you do for yourself more than for any other objective, commercial or otherwise, it just happens. You find the time, rather time finds itself.
Right.
So it's almost like I like to compare this with colleagues and friends of mine who have, of course, equally busy schedules, if not more, and who are, say, fitness freaks or who enjoy cooking, and they somehow are able to find time for it whenever they want to. So writing for me works on a similar pedestal.
Right, fantastic. And what's your process of writing? Is there a part of the day that you focus on, or it just happens?
Okay, so the process of writing, and I like to quote Abraham Lincoln here when he said that if I had 6 hours to chop a tree, I would spend about 4 of them in sharpening my axe. So the process of writing is somewhat like that.
Right.
The more amount of time that you spend in planning and structuring your story, ingraining your characters, the easier it is when you actually come down to the phase when you're writing the story.
Right.
Especially in my case, where you have a full-time job and it has its own demands on you, you can't really stick to a routine. So I can't for sure say that I will be writing every day of a week, X number of hours, because sometimes it just is not possible.
Right.
So then the amount of work, the pre-work that you've done in shaping the story actually comes in handy when you get down to writing it, because the flow is that much more smoothened, and the bumps are sort of flattened, and you're able to sort of pick it up as and when you're able to.
Right.
So for me, the process starts with thinking of a story. I spend a lot of me time with my own self and nobody else to disturb me, thinking about what I want to write on, visualizing the characters in my head, thinking of the core of the story. Then I start structuring it. So I work on a chapter flow. I look at the broad contours of every chapter, what happens when, how I as a reader would want the story to flow for me. And once that piece is in place, and although I'm sort of summarizing it,
Right.
but it's a fairly long process.
Right.
Once that happens, that's when I sort of put pen to paper for the first time. So
Right.
that's the process in a nutshell.
No, very systematic. I know it's writing a book is a very painful process. It needs a lot of discipline, and sometimes, especially I think as what happens with me, when I write is till the time you finish or let it out of you, it's something that keeps disturbing you and keeps like triggering you.
Couldn't agree more. So there are two dimensions, I would say, to that discipline word that you used. Writing is not so much about your linguistic skills or your creativity in that sense, as it is about discipline. Because and the testimony to that is the number of half-written stories that even I would have in my junk folder. Because what happens is, as you rightly said, you start living a story when you get into it. And if you're sort of taken away from it, if you're detached from it for a considerable period of time, it's very difficult to come back and sort of get it back in to the same space that it was before you sort of let go.
Right.
And then you just cannot, at least for me, it doesn't work. I find it extremely difficult to pick up from where I left, as they say, and
Right.
continue with the story. It has to be a totally different canvas, a totally different story, which I begin all over again. So you're right. Discipline, I think, is the number one key.
Right. And you spoke about me time, Anurag. And when you talk about me time, what's your definition of me time? Do you like when you're writing? Do you like take off, maybe to a distance place for 6-7 days, right, or over the weekend, keep yourself totally out of, not only the corporate noise, but probably the personal and the family noise.
I wish, Subhadeep, I wish. So. There was, before I started writing, even I had this romanticized, fantastical sort of an image of an author staring at high mountain peaks in the distance with a mug of steaming coffee on the side and sort of thinking of a plot. Unfortunately, in the real world, I wish it does happen with me someday, but so far it's a very distant dream.
Right.
So the me time, when I say it's basically about having peace of mind. So a space, it could be your bedroom, it could be a garden, it could be while you're jogging in the evening.
Right.
It's just that space where you can block out all external noises and think for yourself.
Right.
So it's not so much the physical space as it is the mental space.
Very well explained. Very well explained. And that's the meditative process. That's where you are totally locked in and zoomed in. Great. Anurag, I'd be very interested to understand and learn a little bit about your early life, where you grew up, your schooling, and, your first tryst with writing. Where did this bug bite?
Sure. So actually, my interest in reading precedes my interest in writing.
Right.
So I was born in Bihar in a joint family, and at a very early age, I was about 4.5 years old when I was sent to a hostel in Kurseong in West Bengal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in class 1 then, and I would come back home during my vacations, and comics were like I was fascinated by comics and the world of comics. And the way it happens in families which are education oriented, especially for our generation, a lot of these ancillary engagements were found to be waste of time.
Right.
So I never got enough when it came to reading what I wanted to read. And then in class 4, I moved to Delhi Public School, Mathura Road, to the hostel there. Hostel life again doesn't allow you to engage as much in reading as you would want to, but somehow I kept that interest simmering. And in school, we had this annual school magazine where students would contribute their write-ups or articles, and that was something that really gave me a kick. I would write small snippets, and when I would see them in print, I would be elated to no end.
Right.
And that's where there was this, I didn't know it yet, but the writing bug had sort of started to seep into my life. the actual writing a book happened after I completed my MBA. I was working with, it was the initial part of my career. I was working with an FMCG major based in Rajkot in Gujarat. So a lot of things had changed in my life suddenly. I had been pulled away from a space where I had all my friends, all my social network, and I was put into a place which was completely alien to me culturally, in terms of the people there. And I had some time at hand, albeit only the weekends, but
Right.
that was a time that was available. So that's when I thought, why not give it a try? And quite honestly, when I started writing, I did not picture it as a book. I was simply writing.
Right. Right.
Once I was done putting my thoughts together, and this was not this was a work of non-fiction. It was called
Right.
Pillars of Success. So it was just my thoughts on what defines career success. What are the things that you should look at or should sort of cultivate within yourself to achieve success. And once I had written it, I accidentally came across a Gujarati publisher who was wanting to venture into English publishing at that point in time. And I just shared my manuscript with them, and it happened. They came back and they said, "We would like to publish this."
Wonderful.
And after that, when I saw that book in bookshelves, people spending their money, their time to engage with something that I had written and derive value from it, I knew that this was something that was there to stay, and I was not going to leave writing in the near future. So that's how the journey began, and thankfully, fortunately, it has continued for so long, and now with about 13 published books, it's. I would like to believe it's going on the right track. I have nothing to complain.
Wonderful, wonderful. And 13 books is surely a feat to acknowledge, and well done on that.
Thank you, Shubhadeep.
Your book, Once Upon a Lockdown, was released a couple of months back, I believe. Tell us a bit about that, and how long did it take you to write that book?
Certainly. So when we slipped into the unexpected lockdown due to COVID-19, I was still sort of working on the last part of another historical fiction that I've been working on for the past year and a half now. So the first thing I did was to finish that. And then there was this sort of a void, because suddenly there was a large part of our life which was forcibly snatched away from all of us. So we were all holed up inside the home. Of course, work was telling, and suddenly you had to adapt to a new working style. There were family demands, figuring out how to engage your child, how to keep things going. But still there was this void, because you would otherwise, to keep yourself mentally occupied, you'd venture out, you'd travel, you'd meet friends. All that thing had gotten blank suddenly. So I knew I had to write to keep my sanity intact. And that's when I got down to thinking about what to write on. I did evaluate a lot of fictional subjects. But another thing that was happening around that time was there was an overdose of information around COVID.
Right.
So consciously or unconsciously, we were consuming a lot of COVID-related content, either on the news channels, on WhatsApp, on social media, and that was by default the top thing in our minds.
Right.
And I saw a couple of problems around it. In sometime in about a week or 10 days of it, I saw a sense of saturation. People no longer wanted to hear COVID because the word had just sort of saturated them so much. So I thought there are two things. One, this is something which is real, which is there with us to stay at least for a few months. So we can't do away with it. Yet we do not want to hear the gloomy, dark messaging around it that we've become accustomed to. So how do I then talk about this in an entertaining manner, in a manner that's relatable, that fills people with some sense of hope, some sense of promise, and that was my thought starter. So the book is actually a collection of 3 short stories. The principal characters being very divergent. So one of the stories is set in the hinterlands of the country, uber rural India. One of them is a flashy Mumbai-based cine star. One of them is a middle class, a working class housewife based in Delhi. And their stories, how the sudden unexpected pandemic sent their lives into topsy-turvy, how it put to rest their plans, and the twists and turns, and how these characters sort of navigate around them. That's what the story is about, and the initial response, I must say, has been extremely encouraging. So I would urge you and your listeners to go and read it if the topic interests you, and do share what you think of Once Upon a Lockdown.
No, wonderful. It's indeed a very interesting book, as you explained. I'm certainly going to put my order on Amazon today, and wait to start reading it on Kindles. And what I'll also do for the benefit of my audience, I'll put the link of the book and Amazon link in the description box. So please have a look below, and you'll be able to catch up with Anurag's latest work on latest book. Anurag, you've written across genres. Do you reckon for an author, he or she needs to stick to a specific genre, or they would try to an experiment?
See, that's a question which is very internal to the author. So I can give you examples of authors who've stuck to a particular genre, who've gone deep in that genre, and who've become synonymous with that particular kind of writing. On the other hand, you have authors like J.K. Rowling or Evan Ayn Rand, who have written what they wanted to write at that point in time and not worried so much about sticking to a particular genre or a typeset, as they say. I would like to equate this to the world of cinema. So you have actors who are typecast, who do a certain kind of a role all through their careers, and then there are actors who push their boundaries, who try and experiment with new things and see how their fans, their viewers respond to it.
Right.
So they are more about experimenting with the craft. So it's all about how a writer similarly looks at his or her writing, and to what extent you are comfortable wanting to dish out something that you've never done before to your readers and take a chance.
Right.
So it's all about your conviction and your risk friendliness, as they say.
Sure. No, true, absolutely. And I think it's all about the comfort factor, as you said, about the author, and the ability of the author to express convincingly what he or she wants to express with the audience and share with the audience or his audience. So great, Anurag. What's the most difficult book that you have written and made you really struggle as an author?
Two books actually. The one that clearly takes the cake is The Legend of Amrapali, and in fact it's a 2-book series on the life of the yesteryear courtesan Amrapali. The first one is The Legend of Amrapali. The second is Birth of the Bastard Prince. So the reason why it was a little difficult, not a little, I'm just being a little extremely difficult, was because that's an era that I, as an author, am not familiar with. So when I'm writing something that's set in a contemporary setting in the world of today, I do not have to really immerse myself to that extent into the story, because the surroundings, the world around, I just need to close my eyes and I can visualize it and I can sort of depict it. But when I'm talking about a time which is thousands of years back in time, it's very difficult to sort of close your eyes and imagine certain things that we take as granted today did not exist then. So just to get into that societal framework, how people thought, how people behaved, what people wore, what people ate, all of that is about slipping into a totally different world before you start the process of writing. So I actually traveled to Vaishali, which is the area where Amrapali had lived in her day and age. I went to the ASI museum there. I saw the artifacts from that period, just to sort of absorb the feel of that era in that sense. And that took a lot of time and effort. And every time that I would get back to the story, I would have to actually spend some time to go back mentally into that day and age so that I was able to do justice to the story.
Fantastic. It's a lot of research, it seems, and I can understand, but well done on those two books. And what I wanted to ask you next is three authors, whose works have inspired you.
Three is difficult. I read across genres.
Yeah. Choose across genres, any three names, that.
Sure. Let me try and do justice to this question. The first one I would say Harivansh Rai Bachchan, particularly his work Madhushala. So just the composition itself, it's if you look at the dimensions, so if you read any of the couplets from Madhushala, you can either relate to it at a very practical, no-nonsense sort of a level, and it makes sense, or you could dial up and take it to a very spiritual level, and yet it makes sense.
Right.
So irrespective of the mood that you're in, that's a piece of writing that just appeals to you. At least that's how it works for me. The second I would say is, can I club two people?
Yeah.
The
Do that.
Slot? So I would say Franz Kafka and Milan Kundera.
Right.
So you'd say two very different kind of authors. But the one commonality that you would find in their writings is going beyond the ordinary, going into a space, be it a dark, morose world, or a world that is unthinkable with characters which are which require a certain degree of imagination beyond the normal. So both of them sort of transport you to a very different world with their writing, and that ability itself is something that has really inspired me all through.
Sure.
The number one would be P.G. Wodehouse.
Right.
So pick up a P.G. Wodehouse. At any point in time, you're feeling low, pick up P.G. Wodehouse and you'll be smiling. So I've had instances in my earlier years, mostly when late in the night I'm reading a P.G. Wodehouse and I burst out laughing. So that's again something, if written words can do that to you as a reader, I think they've more than accomplished the author's objectives.
Right. No, very well laid out and great choices, Anurag. Anurag, we're almost towards the end of our show, and I wanted to ask you one last question. Do you see COVID-19 transforming the publishing industry and the whole readership mindset?
COVID-19, unfortunately, is here to stay, and its impact is something that I'm sure not only the publishing industry, but everything, the life that we had known pre-COVID is going to feel in the years to come. So, of course, publishing industry is something that will feel the brunt. And there are two or three specific areas where I see this manifesting. First is, even in the pre-COVID era, we've seen a lot of physical brick and mortar bookshops putting the shutters down.
Right.
That's just because of the commercials of it, high variable costs, low top lines, low throughputs, reading habit not really the same as what it possibly was some time back. So all those factors have just been accentuated by COVID-19 as far as the brick and mortar bookstores are concerned. So even once we get into the new normal, I don't see all the bookshops being able to sustain themselves. So if there were 100 bookshops that we knew, I'm sure the numbers will shrink to say a 60 or a 70 even 1 year, 2 years down the line. So that's one big impact. A lot of the book sales will shift online, both for hard copies and digital versions. Like in my case as a reader, I consider myself as a very old school person when it comes to my reading habits, and I never really liked to read books on Kindle. A book is a book, and you need to read a book to read a
Right.
book. So that's what I used to believe in. But this these past few months, they've really made me experiment, and now I'm gradually becoming comfortable with a medium that was alien to me. And I'm sure this is happening with a lot more readers. So a lot of this will transcend to the online space,
Right.
the reading piece. Gradually, physical copies will again come into play. They will increase their salience in that sense. But it'll more be on the online space. And the third and the last thing that this will do is, like several other industries, the publishing industry will also have to think of new and novel ways to connect with the readers. So the
Right.
traditional book promotional plans that we had, wherein you do book launch events, you do book readings at bookstores, and that's where you connect with your readers, is something that's going to change drastically as we move along. We will have to look at innovative mediums to connect with our readers, to create enough intrigue about our works among them, and that's something which is going to be going to be the new normal as we move along for the publishing industry. So these are the three things where I see most of the change happening. But then who knows how tomorrow shapes.
True, absolutely. And we truly, the word that we are all using a bit too much, unprecedented, and we are in that kind of a space. But I think we have to take one day at a time and live our life as best as we can, as happy as we can, in the spirit of and respecting the spirit of life. Anurag, thank you so much for giving me the time and being on the show. Such a pleasure sharing thoughts with you as always, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of COVID over a cup of coffee and getting into our sessions of conversations on books and literature and life.
Thank you, Shubhadeep. It was an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, and thank you to all your viewers for bearing with us. And stay safe, be good, and I'm sure this too shall pass.